What's going on, everybody? So in the last video I made, I just talked about David Benavidez and how he's calling out all these guys, and I love it. I want to speak about the possibility of Canelo versus David Benavidez. Now, Canelo, he's been at super middleweight for a few years now, and I understand that he fought at light heavyweight versus Bivol, but I don't think that's going to happen again. I think he's at super middleweight for the foreseeable future. And he fought the champions when he got into the division, to his credit. He fought Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant. Now, most people consider David Benavidez to be better than those guys, but he had happened to not have had a title at that point because he had lost it due to his failed drug test with he used cocaine and him not making weight. So he won his title twice in the ring, but he didn't have it at the time that Canelo fought him. A lot of people think that Canelo is ducking David Benavidez. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the fight hasn't happened yet. But it makes me wonder, why would Canelo be hesitant to fight David Benavidez? And I think the main reason why Canelo may be a little bit hesitant to fight David Benavidez is because Canelo Alvarez is the face of North American boxing. And in America, the biggest boxing fan base is the Latinos, because that's the biggest minority in America is Latin people. Most white people, they're not really into boxing like that. They're into MMA. So it's really the Latino fighters that really drive, that's the biggest subsection of boxing than African American. Canelo Alvarez, a lot of his fan base is Latino Americans. David Benavidez is a Latino American. I know he's Mexican heritage, but he's not Mexican. He's from Phoenix, Arizona. He's partially Ecuadorian. Point is, he's close enough. And I think that he has a very exciting style. He's got an exciting personality. And he's someone who I think can be the face of American boxing, potentially. So when you are in Canelo's position, when not only are you one of the top guys from a pound-for-pound list and someone that many people would argue is the best on the pound-for-pound list, but you're the face of American boxing. And when you're the face of American boxing, you don't want to just give that spot up so easily. And if he were to fight David Benavidez and David Benavidez were to beat him, or even crazier, if he was to dominate Canelo, or even crazier, if he was to stop Canelo, not only would Canelo take the loss and lose his titles and all that, he might lose his spot as the number one shot caller and number one money man in American boxing. And I think that is really what could potentially steer Canelo away from fighting Benavidez, because that's not, I lost the fight to Bivol, I could come back, I'll be all right. That's a big deal. These guys want that top spot. They have big egos. They want to get that money, even though Canelo, he's made a lot of money, God bless him. But that, I think, is where Canelo's head is, where he's like, I don't know if I want to fight David Benavidez, because let's say he loses to Benavidez and then they rematch and then Benavidez beats him again, or stops him. That's not, that's a problem. Like he and then Benavidez goes on and wins a few more big fights. You might look around 2, 3, 4 years and be like, man, Benavidez took his spot. And I think a lot of the UK people will relate to this, and I think it was someone who pointed this out. I think it was Paulie Malignaggi who pointed this out. A lot of times, these guys in the UK, they don't want to fight each other, because they're afraid the other guy who beats them might get bigger than them. Like, I think that's why Amir Khan didn't fight Kell Brook to the end of his career, because he didn't want Kell Brook to get bigger than him. I think a lot of times that's the case. So I'm just saying, I think that's a reason why Canelo might not want to fight David Benavidez. I don't think it's so much like, I'm afraid of losing. I think it's more he's afraid of losing the top spot. And I think if Canelo were to lose to Charlo or to Andrade or to even Bivol again or someone like that, I don't think it would be as detrimental for him as if he lost to David Benavidez, because David Benavidez and Canelo, they share a lot of the same fan base. So it could be a problem. You don't want to potentially help the guy who's threatening to take your spot. So that's what I think about that. And I think that might be a reason why Canelo is reluctant to fight David Benavidez. But let me know what you think, and please check out my other video where I talked about David Benavidez calling out everybody, and I spoke about the Canelo Triple G fight. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. It's muchly appreciated. Peace out.